Alright, we're back. This is probably going to be shaking around because I am running around on a hardwood floor, which isn't super stable. So, sorry for the creaking noise. I turned off the ceiling fan, which I see has a spider dangling from it, so that's fun. I'll have to get that after this. The air conditioner is off, and like I said, it's during the middle of the summer. So it's a little hot in here. Trying not to sweat too hard. Okay, so, still have this. There's nothing new on the front. Yeah, this isn't going to change a whole lot. If I think it looks kind of ugly or boring or plain or whatever, or if I switch to a different binder, I might change this. So it's just to keep track of how old the book, how old the binder is. Basically, if you see a really dirty looking binder, if you have like 50 of them, because I do, yeah, you probably don't want to toss the one that's like a year old. That'd be kind of wasteful. Of course, if it's covered in black mold, probably get rid of that, like ASAP. Anyways, assuming it's fine, this is just a nice little thing to remember. Like, look at that. I started this project all the way back then. Of course, it says July 1st, 2023, and this recording is done at the same time as the one for this. And for this, which now has something new listed, birthdays in 2023, and we see a little tab up here, which I talked about in the last one. Anyways, I have one in front, just in case for some reason you have multiple of the same type. And you're keeping them all in the same place. That happens sometimes. You know, you might make like two things which are the same by accident, which would be pretty embarrassing. You could be taking in information from multiple sources, and it'll just end up in the same spot, and it'll have the same name, and it's weird. But anyways, on the off chance that there is something different, this would say something different than one. It would say 2 or 3 or 5. I don't know. Hopefully not more than 5 at a time, because once you get past 5, it's very difficult to figure out what's going on. I like to think of it kind of like a voice call in a video game. If you have more than 5 people in a voice call, good luck. It's really hard to keep track of everything. If you have 5, it's manageable. Once you go above that, it gets really stressful. Like I'd say, if you're playing a MOBA, for example, do not play with 7 people in the same call. Just don't. Okay, so we got birthdays in 2023. What does that mean? Well, on the contents page, that's what it says. And when we flip the page, we've got this, which is by far the most intricate of the pages so far. Sorry, I just realized that the facial hair on my face is different on each side, so you're going to be seeing one side. Whatever. Not really sure what that is. Thought that was an eyelash at first. Another thing is, if you make this stuff out of pencil, you can erase it. As we can see here, I made lots of eraser marks. The reason for that is because I drew one line in the middle to chop it up, because we have 12. So that means we can reduce it to 6. And then I thought, oh, I'll just split it in half. No. I don't know why I make that mistake every single time. But then I made little dots based on just putting my thumb in the middle. Also, yeah, hitchhiker's thumb. I can make it go a lot further than that. I just don't want to break my body, you know. Yeah. So this is for birthdays. This is for upcoming events. If for some reason you want to remember what's going on without actually having to remember it, can you imagine? Writing things down. It's kind of weird. Yeah, you could just toss that in here. Obviously, this isn't the most effective way to do things. This sort of line here is for reminding you to use the first half of the page first, just in case you meet a bunch of people who have birthdays in the second half, because if you do that, you're going to have to stretch the months out, or like, you're going to have to move stuff around, and then we'll redo pages when that stuff happens. But in general, once the events get to like the halfway point down the page, you only have so much space left. So if you accidentally run out of room too early, well, you're going to need to like stuff stuff in this corner. I think I said stuff. Yeah, so it says upcoming events. You could just have it say events. Doesn't really matter. Remember that this is supposed to be more of a commonplace book than the authoritative guide on all human reasoning, logic, and understanding. Like, we're not trying to prove we're big brain or whatever. We're just trying to get the job done. And if you just want to have something that you work on, this is probably pretty good. I would still recommend putting most of your stuff on the computer, just because eventually it gets kind of hard to type. Well, it gets kind of hard to type after a ridiculous number of words per day. But it also gets kind of hard to, not necessarily draw, but, just even make a few lines. It can get quite tiring after a long time if you do like more than 10 pages of writing per day, which I don't do anymore because I figured out how to put as much on the computer as possible and the least amount on a page as possible, which is quite useful because it's a lot easier for me to type than it is for me to write. And I did all this writing while standing up, so if it looks really bad, that's probably why, because I'm just kind of anxious right now, so walking around. And that's the thing. You can make this when you're not feeling so good. You can make it when you're feeling great. Obviously, when you redo it, it'll be better. This wouldn't have all the little lines that are completely unnecessary. I might not leave this line in the middle, although I probably would. This line is purposely lighter. I almost said blank, which doesn't really make any sense. This area is supposed to be blank, but it isn't, and that's okay. You might be able to see this. There's an indentation. It says 2023 because on the page before, oh boy, we've got this. So what'll happen to the first page that's right behind, my computer just went off. You saw lighting change, that's why. The more we add to the first page, the more the first page will get messed up. So just keep that in mind. If you have like a photograph of yourself, do not put it on the page behind the contents page, because obviously if we're stabbing it, well, it's gonna look like somebody did some art. And by art, I more so mean alterations. Do we have any more pages? No, we don't. All right. Thanks, bye.